Hey you guys, and welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to show you guys how to design this Look and Learn training course flyer. So let's get started. So before you get started with the flyer, you always want to think of what is your theme. So for the theme of this flyer, it was giving very much school vibes. That's why you see the paper plane, the clipboard, all of that good stuff, because when you get trained on something, it's pretty much like you're in school. So we're going to start off with the background. To find this picture of the school lockers, you're going to go to the left hand side where it says elements, and you're going to type in white lockers. Scroll all the way down until you find the right one that looks just like this. I'm going to pause the video just in case you guys have a hard time trying to find this specific picture. You can see that it's by Getty Images signature, and if you type in Getty Images signature, you should find these exact school lockers if you have a hard time. And FYI, you do not have to use the same exact ones that I'm using. You can always use another one if you see one that looks better. Now add the locker to your page, and now we're just going to lower the opacity. You can find the opacity tool in the top right corner. It always starts off as 100, but we're going to lower it down to 22. Now that we have the background, let's add a paper plane. I'm going to add the paper plane that's in the original flyer, and then I'm going to show you guys how to find it. Head on over to our bestie Google, and we're going to type in paper plane PNG. Click images, and then all these different options are going to pop up. Now I'm just going to speed the video up until I find the paper plane that I used. Okay, I decided to go with this paper plane from Pen Clip Art. You're going to save the image and then head back on over to Canva. Now that you've added that paper plane to your camera roll, you want to upload it into Canva. Go to Uploads in the left-hand corner, select Upload Files, and then select your image. Now add it to the page, and we're going to remove the background. Click on Edit Image in the top left corner, and then you're going to select Background Remover, and it's going to automatically remove the background for you. I absolutely love this feature in Canva because there was a point in time when I would have to use a whole different app just to remove backgrounds from pictures. Okay, so do you remember that paper plane that I added earlier? I want you guys to ignore it. I'm just using it as a reference so I can get the perfect position. For those of you guys that are watching, you can use the purple box as your guideline to get the same exact position that I have. Now I'm just going to speed the video up as I position the paper plane. Now I'm just going to change the size of it. You don't want it too big and you don't want it too small. So once you get the right size, you're going to put it in the top left corner. Now I want to add a shadow to the paper plane to give some more detail to the flyer. Click on the paper plane, then click on Edit Image in the top left corner, and you're going to scroll all the way down until you see the purple icon that says Shadows. I'm going to use the Page Lift shadow, but feel free to use any of the others. Now we're going to add like a little loop behind the paper plane to make it look like it's flying. So then you're going to go to Elements in the left hand corner, and you're going to type in dashed loop. Of course, if you don't like the way the dash loop looks, you can always use a solid loop. But for me, it's all in the details, so I went with a dash loop. I decided to go with the third one. I liked how it wasn't too thick and it wasn't too thin, and then it also didn't have too much going on. I just wanted something very simple, very basic. Now we're just going to rotate the loop, and we're going to change the color to blue. I'm going to show you guys exactly which blue I used for the loop. Because the background is white, which is a lighter color, the loop has to be a darker color so that it can stand out. When you're using a dark background, you use lighter elements. When you're using a lighter background, you use darker elements. If you look to the left, you can see all of the different shades of blue that I use. I was trying so many different ones, light blue, dark blue, but the one that I used was the one on the left. I'm going to show you the hex code. You can use this code and type it into the color search bar, and it'll take you to the exact same color that I used. Now that everything looks good with the loop, I'm just going to put it directly behind the paper plane. Now we're going to continue working on the background. I posted this flyer on TikTok, and everyone wanted to know, how did I get my background to have this white shadow behind my text? So let me show you how I did it. You're going to go to Elements, and you're going to find this pink circle. I'm going to pause the video so you guys can see exactly which pink circle it is. You can find this exact pink circle by typing in pink blush circle blur into the Elements search bar. Once you type in the exact name, it'll pop up and you'll see it. Now I'm just going to add the blush circle to the page. And because our page background is white, we're going to make the circle white as well. I'm going to put the shadow on the left of the page, and then I'm going to add it all the way across until it covers the entire line. Now it's time to add the title of the flyer. Now you're going to add a text box to the page and type out the words look and. In order to make your title look like mine, you cannot type out the word and. You have to use the symbol just like I did. I'm going to add it to the top right corner, and let me show you guys which font I used. I used the font called Cinematographica. I got it from the website defont.com. I'm going to link the website to the description box below. That way you guys can upload the font and use it for your flyer. Once you have the correct font, you want to change the font size to 228. Make sure it's positioned correctly, and now we're just going to change the color to a baby blue. Again, I'm going to pause the video and show you guys the hex code. That way you can type it into the search bar and use the same exact color. Now that you have the correct shade of blue, you want to add the neon effect to it. You're going to select effects in the top right corner, choose neon, and increase the intensity to 100. Now I want the neon effect to be a little darker, so I'm going to duplicate my text and put it right on top of one another. Now I'm going to duplicate my text again and type out the word learn so that my title says look and learn. I'm going to remove the neon effect from the word learn, and then I'm going to change the font as well. The font that I'm using is Anton. It's one of my favorite Canva fonts. So now that I have the correct font, I want to get the right font size. So that's what you're going to see me do over the next few seconds. I'm going to kind of play around with the title until I get the right position and everything's evened out. Now I'm going to add a text box that says training course. Then decrease the font size, and then I'm going to change the letter spacing. I want the letters to be a little bit more spaced out and the font size to be a little bit smaller than the actual title. And as always, you want to make sure that everything is lined up perfectly. I promise you that is going to make such a difference in your flyers. Now we're going to move on to the categories of this flyer. One is titled You Will Learn, and then the other is titled You Will Receive. So I'm going to grab a square from the lines and shapes section of the Elements tab, and then I'm just going to stretch that square out until it's a perfect rectangle and can fit right under my title. Now that my length is good, I'm going to change the color to black. Then add a You Will Learn text box on top of the rectangle. Change the color of the text to blue, that way we can see it. Then you want to change the font. For this text box, I used a font called Baggy Demo. I will show you guys how to upload fonts directly to Canva in another video. Now I'm just correcting the font size so that the text fits perfectly into the black box. Now let's move on to the rest of the text. I knew that I didn't want just regular bullet points. I wanted something a little bit different, so I used black thumb pins. I didn't really like the thumb pins that Canva had to offer, so I decided to go on Google Images to find some. When I'm adding elements to my flyers, I like them to look realistic. So head on over to Google Images and type in black thumb pin PNG, and then you're going to scroll through their images and see which one do you like. The thumb pin by Presenter Media, I really like that one. I like the angle of it. I like the shine. I like the shadow. I liked everything about it, so I went with that one and saved it to my camera roll. Now I'm just going back to Canva, going to upload files, and then I'm going to upload my black thumb pin. Once it's uploaded, you want to go to Edit Images and use the background remover. Now I'm just going to position my thumb pin where I want it, and I want the size of the thumb pin to match the size of my text. Then I'm going to flip the position of the thumb pin using the flip button at the top of the screen because I don't want my thumb pin to go in the same direction as my text. And remember, alignment is everything, so you want your thumb pin to go directly under your black box that we created earlier. Now I'm not going to add my thumb pins before I add my text because I don't know how big or small I want my line spacing to be. So now I'm just going to speed the video up as I add all of my text. You can change the spacing of your lines by clicking on the button next to Effects at the top that has the 3 lines with the arrow on the side. The line spacing option that I decided to go with is 1.82. Now that my text looks good, I'm going to duplicate the one thumb pin that I originally put on the flyer. And remember, alignment is everything, so you want to make sure that these thumb pins are aligned perfectly. Yes, it's very tedious to do, but I'm telling you, in the end, when your flyer is finished and done, it's going to look so good. Now I'm just going to speed the video up as I add the rest of my text and the rest of my thumb pins. Okay, our template is looking good. Now the paper airplane that we put in the top left corner, we're going to duplicate that and put one in the bottom right corner. Okay, now let's move on and add the black line. Go to the Elements tab, then go to Lines and Shapes, and then click on the white solid line. Now I'm going to stretch the line all the way out from the left side all the way until I get to the paper airplane in the bottom right corner. Okay, do y'all see that black solid line? That looks way too basic. We want it to be dotted. So you're going to click on the button in the top left corner with the 3 lines, and you're going to click the dots. Now you can also change the thickness of your line. If you want it thicker or thinner, that's up to you, but for my design I use the weight of 5. Now if your line appears above your paper airplane, you want to put it behind it by clicking on the position button in the top right corner and then just clicking backward until it's behind your plane. I'm going to add a dashed loop behind this paper plane as well, so I'm just going to duplicate the one that I put in the top left corner. Flip the loop vertically or horizontally, however you need to, until you get the perfect position. I'm scooting everything up because I realized that I didn't have enough room to put the boxes and information below. Now let's move on to the clipboard. You want to go to the Elements tab and type in clipboard in the search bar. You do not have to use the same exact clipboard that I used. As I was making this video, I even came across a clipboard that I thought looked better than the original one that I used. So feel free to scroll through all the different options and choose one that you like best. Once you find a clipboard that you like, add it to the page, and then if you need to remove the background, go ahead and do that. For the one that I chose, I definitely had to remove the background. Once you remove the background, go ahead and position it how you want. I went for a more slanted look, but feel free to position it exactly how you like. Since this is a flyer template, I wanted to make it very easy for my customers to add their pictures to the clipboard. So I went ahead and added the picture frame from the Elements tab to the top of the clipboard. If this is your own personal flyer that you're designing, you can definitely skip this step and just upload your picture from the upload file section. This is just an extra step that I have to do because I'm creating a flyer template. Here you see me just trying to get the perfect width and length so that it fits perfectly onto the page of the clipboard. Now the rest of this video is pretty much me just duplicating a lot of the elements that are already on the flyer. And the reason why I say duplicate the elements that are already on your flyer is because it's going to save you a lot of time. Designing a flyer is already time consuming, so if you can cut down on that time, do it as much as you can. Now we're going to type out the text where we let the customer know exactly what they're going to receive from the course. First, I'm going to duplicate the You Will Learn text box and change it to You Will Receive. Now duplicate the bigger text box that's on the right and put it on the left. And then change all of the text to exactly what you want it to say. I'm just going to speed this video up as I change all of my text. Now we're going to duplicate the thumb pins that are on the right and put them on the left. Now we're just going to duplicate the black rectangles that we have on the flyer already. Because the rectangles are overlapping, we're going to start with the bigger one first, which is the blue one. So duplicate the rectangle and then stretch it out to the length that you want. Then change the color of the rectangle to blue. I'm going to show you guys the hex code of the blue that I use, but of course, if you want, you can use any other color. Now that the outer rectangle looks good, we're going to work on the inner rectangle. All we're going to do is duplicate the blue rectangle, change the color, and then change the length of it. You want it to look half and half, so make sure that the blue is just as even as the black. Take your time to make sure you get that alignment right. Now we're going to work on the rectangles that are on the right. Again, we're going to start off with the outer rectangle. Duplicate the blue rectangle that we just created, put it on the right, and make it long enough to fill up the remainder of that white space. If your paper plane and your dash loop is below or behind your rectangle like mine is, just scoot it up a little bit. Now that the positioning looks good, I'm going to work on my inner rectangle. Duplicate the black rectangle that I just created and stretch it out until it's half and half like the other one. Now I'm just going to work on the rest of my text. The font that I used is Open Sans Extra Bold. It is one of my favorite Canva fonts. Now let's just change the color of the text. Because the blue is darker than the white text, I'm going to add the lift effect to the text so that it stands out a little bit more. Now for the next few seconds, you guys can just watch me add the rest of my text because, that is all that's really left. Now the last thing that we have to do is add a binder clip next to the paper plane that's in the bottom right corner. So go to Elements and then you're going to type in binder clip into the search bar. Select the binder clip of your choice and then just add it to the bottom right corner. And be sure to position it exactly how you want. And there you have it. We have designed our Look and Learn training course flyer. Once everything looks good and you've double checked to make sure everything's aligned, the colors are perfect, the text is perfect, you have no errors, no mistakes, you're going to save your design as a PNG, and then you should have something that looks like this. And there you have it. The flyer looks absolutely beautiful. The alignment of everything, the colors, the picture, the elements, I absolutely love it. When I posted this template into my Etsy shop, I received so many orders within the first few days of it being posted. So I figured, why not make this my first YouTube video? I hope you guys really enjoyed designing with me. Make sure you like and subscribe. Even comment below. Let me know, what do you guys want to see from me in the future, in the next couple of weeks, couple of days, and I will be sure to create more videos for you guys.